GCOM's commissioners started to meet more frequently?
As was necessary, yes.
Yes. So on the 15th of March, do you recall that day?
I do.
And on that day, you also met, the commission also met, not so?
Yes, it did.
And you during the course of that meeting, you met with the CARICOM team, which was there to make arrangements for a recount, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And part of the commission's responsibilities included the determination of the methodology and logistics for the recount, correct?
Correct.
And you liaise with CARICOM with respect to that, correct?
Yes.
Now, I want to take you to the 1st of April 2020. Do you recall that day?
I do.
And the commission again met on that date.
It did.
And the reason you all had met was because there had been a particular court ruling which was important to the issue of a recount.
Yes.
And at that meeting, some of the commissioners asked that the meeting be postponed to the following day, correct?
Correct.
Did you all meet on the 2nd?
Of April?
Yes.
Could I request to be refreshed from my statement?
Yes, look at paragraph 79.
Yes.
No, you met on the 3rd of April 2020, not so?
Correct.
And I'm going to take you to the 8th of April 2020. This time the commission met with the CEO, correct? You want to refresh your memory? Paragraph 8.
As I stated earlier on, the CEO is an ex officio member of the commission. So when we meet, we will meet with the CEO.
Okay. So on that occasion, the 8th of April 2020, did the CEO present a draft plan to the commissioners?
He did.
And did he suggest that there should be 156 days, or he suggested a timeline of 156 days for the conduct of the recount?
Correct.
What was the commissioner's position on that? What were the commissioner's positions, respectfully?
I could start out, Senior, by saying that what my reaction was, and that was an immediate rejection of that proposed timeline.
In fact, it was rejected by a majority of the commission, correct?
Correct. That majority of the commission being myself, Commissioners Shaddick and Ben, who together protested it, and the chairman.
And the CEO was then ordered to revise his plan and bring a new plan to the commission by the 14th of April 2020. So
Correct.
This is the 8th and he's being given another 6 days, correct?
Correct.
So on the 14th of April 2020, did you all meet and was the CEO part of the meeting?
Kindly remind me of the date?
14th. This is the day you...
Yes, on the 14th of April, the CEO came back to the commission seeking clarifications in relation to the revision that we ordered him to do.
Okay, so he didn't come back with a revised plan. He came back and sought additional clarification.
On the 14th.
And you all met again on the 15th.
Correct?
And had the CEO by this time adjusted the timeline which had been earlier rejected by the Commission?
He made certain suggestions and alterations which did not significantly change the previous timeline he proposed, that is to say 156 days.
So did you all meet again on the 16th?
Chair, the dates are a bit hazy with your
I'm not checking.
Sorry.
Look at paragraph 83 if you wish to refresh your memory.
Yes, we met again on the 16th.
And on that date, it was agreed that the recount process would start in early May of 2020.
Correct?
So let's go to May, the 2nd of May 2020. The chairman had basically convened or sought to convene a meeting of the commission for that day. Not so?
The chairman invited the commission, all the members of the commission and political parties, representatives of political parties, to a meeting at the Arthur Chung Convention Center.
And did the CEO turn up for that meeting?
The CEO did not turn up for the meeting.
Did he send a representative?
He did not.
Do you recall the 6th of May 2020? If you can't, look at paragraph 85.
Yes, the 6th of May 2020 was the commencement date of the recount exercise.
Which continued until the 9th of June 2020.
Correct?
Now, the commission, is it correct to say that the commission had asked the CEO, had required the CEO, I beg your pardon, to produce and present a report to the commission subsequent to the recount?
Yes, it did.
And on the 13th of July 2020, did he submit such a report?
Yes, he did.
Now, I want you to refresh your memory from paragraphs 86 and 87, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the report which he submitted on the 13th of July 2020, what did he say in that report to the commission?
In that report, Chair, they...
No, I'm not the chair.
my apologies, and I apologize to you too, Chair. In that report, the CEO stated that he was unable to ascertain that the 2020 general and regional elections, which he oversaw, were impartial and credible.
Pause.
May I just inquire, would that report be available to the Commission?
I will have to make inquiries. Now, prior to this day, the 13th of July 20, to the 13th of July 2020, let me ask it this way. At any time between the 2nd of March 2020 to the 13th of July 2020, had the CEO advised the Commission that he was unable to ascertain whether the March 2nd general and regional elections had been impartial and credible? Had he communicated any such concern to you during that period?
No, he did not.
And in that report, What else did he say?
In that report, he gave a victory to the APNU plus AFC coalition, and quite interestingly, the margin of victory was even greater than that which was fraudulently declared by Claremont Mingo.
Now, I want you to refresh your memory from paragraph 87 in particular, because I have one or two questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in this report, if I am understanding you correctly, first let me ask you, are the contents of paragraph 87 correct?
Yes, it is, ma'am.
So in his report, what you are telling us is the CEO said that 60% of valid votes were now no longer valid?
Correct?
And out of the remaining balance, he apportioned 67% to the APNU plus AFC party,
Correct?
and he apportioned 30.5% of the votes to the PPP/C party.
Correct, ma'am.
In his report, did he also claim that the APNU plus AFC had won another district, District 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the, sorry,
Commissioner Dunraj, can you tell me, you told us earlier today that the CEO is a creature of the Commission
Yes, yes.
and his functions are statutorily defined.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct there?
You are, sir.
Is there any statutory authority to the CEO to determine the validity of votes cast?
No, sir.
Is there any authority conferred by law on the CEO to reject any votes cast?
No, sir.
now this report, which contained all of the material which I have just drawn your attention to, was it accepted by the Commission?
No.
Thank you. And when you say it was not accepted, was this a unanimous non-acceptance or a majority non-acceptance?
It was a majority non-acceptance.
But it was received in the hands of the commissioners, handed over to the commission.
Yes, sir, it was.
It was a majority, as you said. Yes.
I want to take you to the 16th of June 2020. Is it correct that the chairman wrote, the GCOM chairman wrote to the CEO ordering him to prepare his report based on the actual outcome of the recount? Would you like to look at your statement? Paragraph 89. I know it's been a long day. It's been a very long day, Mr. Gunraj. You found it?
Yes, ma'am. But before I answer, the date that was given early, the previous report that we just discussed, it was not in paragraph 86. It is not the 13th of July 2020.
June.
It is the 13th of June 2020.
Okay, yes. Thank
That-
you for
that-
that correction.
You're welcome, ma'am. That was throwing my dates on.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So the 16th of June, did the chairman write to the CEO ordering him to prepare a recount a report based on the actual outcome of the recount?
Yes, ma'am.
And he was given a time frame within which to submit it, correct?
Yes, yes, he was.
He was given until the 18th of June 2020 to submit it.
Yes, ma'am.
And in fact, the commission convened to receive it, or sought to convene to receive it.
Yes, there's a meeting scheduled to receive it.
And were you all able to convene?
No, we were not able to on account of the absence of two commissioners from the other side.
So you didn't have a quorum.
We did not.
Did the CEO show up?
He did not show up, or he did not send the report.
Did he send a representative?
No, he did not.
Was any reason forwarded to the commission for his absence?
None was forwarded, sir.
Now, during all of this time, there were court proceedings which were ongoing and so on, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. So, on the 22nd of June 2020, after there had been a ruling of the Court of Appeal, did the Commission receive another report from the CEO? Would you like to look at paragraph 91?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
No, let's do that. That's good.
Is that date correct? Or you're not sure?
Trying to put it back into the timeline.
Well, let's put it this way. Did the CEO subsequently submit another report to GCOM?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this other report which he submitted, there was an issue involving 115,000 votes.
Yes, ma'am.
So you say in your statement in paragraph 91 that this disregarded 115,000 votes. What can you clarify?
Yes, ma'am. In the first report to which I referred, the CEO disregarded almost 300,000 votes. There were about 460,000 odd votes cast in elections, and the CEO's report, to which I previously alluded, he only considered 185,000 odd votes to be valid.
But when you use the term he disregarded the votes, what do you mean?
So in the first report,
Yes.
he would have disregarded about 300, just under 300,000 votes.
Meaning, he did not take those votes into consideration about 300.
Yes, sir. In his
Yes.
explanation, he disregarded those as being not valid.
Okay, that's right.
So, when you are saying disregarded, what you're basically saying, as you had explained to us earlier, is he invalidated valid votes?
Yes.
Okay, and on the 8th of July 2020, there was a ruling by the Caribbean Court of Justice. Did the Commission then order the CEO to produce a report reflecting the valid votes counted in the national recount as per the certificate of recounts generated?
Yes, ma'am.
And he was ordered to do this by the 10th of July 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he produce it for the Commission?
He did not. Instead, he came to the Commission on that said 10th of July 2020 and sought further guidance.
And on the 11th, did you, at the Commission or as Commissioners, receive a report from the CEO?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it correct to say that that report was now using the numbers declared by Mr. Mingo in March of 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall the 13th of July 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it correct to say that on that date, the Commission formally set aside all previous declarations and decided that the recount figures should be used?
Yes, ma'am.
And did the Commission instruct the CEO to present a report based on the national recount figures by the following day by 2:30 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a meeting of the Commission on the 14th of July 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the CEO submit a report?
No, ma'am.
Was he asked why he was not submitting a report?
He was asked and he refused to answer any questions. At that said meeting, the commissioners on the other side walked out of the meeting, thereby making it lose a quorum.
Was that meeting then rescheduled for the following day?
Yes, ma'am.
But because of a court case, you all did not convene, correct? On the 30th of July 2020, there was a decision of the Court of Appeal,
Yes, ma'am.
and the chairman of the commission again requested a report from the CEO.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you all eventually convene on the 2nd of August 2020?
We did, ma'am.
And on that day, did the CEO submit a report to the commission?
Finally, he did.
And in that report, did he use the figures, the actual figures from the recount?
Yes, he did, ma'am.
So I'm just going to look at my timeline. The recount ended on the 9th of June 2020, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So between the 9th of June 2020 is that the correct date? 10th of June 2020.
Yes, ma'am, 9th of June
Yes.
2020.
And the 2nd of August 2020, despite numerous requests by GCOM's commissioners, the CEO of GCOM refused to provide an accurate report reflecting the outcome of that recount. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I wouldn't say requests, I would say directions.
Direction. Now, commissioners, I have several exhibits, documentary and audiovisual. So if you will allow me, may I move to the exhibits?
Yes.
It's been a long day for Mr. Hope you don't mind, sir.
I don't, sir. I consider it
Well,
part of the service.
Thank you. While senior counsel is getting up her documents, can I ask you, would I be correct to say that it is the presiding officer at the polling station who is statutorily authorized to pronounce on the validity of a vote?
Yes, sir.
So first of all, you spoke about seeing a court order on the 5th of March 2020. That's the big day in terms of this whole chronology. Yes?
Start. Yes, ma'am.
So if you see a copy of that, will you be able to recognize it?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Might this be admitted as SG2 and copies are available for the commissioners? Right. You spoke about a decision on the national recount dated 16 June 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
If you see that, will you be able to recognize it?
I would.
Something here is not stapled properly. Is that the chairperson's decision on the CEO's report?
Yes, ma'am.
Might this be admitted as SG3? 3 copies for the commissioners. Now, during this period of time, the newspapers were carrying accounts of what was taking place with respect to the whole electoral process. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
And there was a report in particular of the 26th of June 2020 in the Starbrook News. If you see that report, will you be able to recognize it? June 26th.
Yes, ma'am.
Might that be, well, just a second. That would be SG4, I think.
Yes.
Is that the newspaper report?
It is, ma'am.
And did you have in your possession a copy of a letter dated 11th July 2020 from the CEO to the chairman of the commission?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you see it, will you be able to identify it?
I would be. This letter includes the results as provided by the report is provided by the CEO as well.
Thank you.
Final report.
No,
No, this is one of the preliminary
Preliminary
reports.
report.
Might this be
SG5.
5? And on the 9th of July 2020, the chairman wrote to the CEO requesting his report. In fact, this is on the March 2nd, 2020 general and regional elections. By 2 p.m. on the 10th of July, using the valid votes counted in the national recount as per certificates of recount. Correct?
yes, ma'am.
And if you see that letter, you'll be able to identify it.
Yes, ma'am.
SG6.
What did I do with the copies of that? Did I, commissioners, did I pass up the copies of that already? Oh, yes. No, no. I'm sorry, I just had it in my hand. I don't know what I did with it, but I will provide copies from the exhibit admitted into evidence. I'm sure I probably mixed it up here. And on the 16th of June 2020, the GCOM chairman again wrote to the CEO asking that he prepare and submit his report by 1 p.m. on the 18th of June 2020 to the commission.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you see that letter, you'll be able to identify it.
I would be.
Might that be marked SG7, and I have
7 or 6?
7.
7, and I have copies here.
We didn't get 6.
I'll have to make further copies of 6, I'm sorry. On the 23rd of June 2020, on the 23rd of June 2020, the CEO wrote to the chairman of GCOM, attaching a table with what he said were valid and credible votes.
Correct, ma'am.
And he attached a report to that letter.
Correct?
So I want you to look at these documents, tell me whether this is in fact the letter and the documents attached.
Yes, ma'am.
Might this be marked SG8? And I have copies. Commissioners, may I inquire whether the one that I did not have copies for was the letter of July the 9th? No? Or we haven't got there yet?
Yes.
July 9, this one.
Ah, okay. Well, I have found the copies, so that would be copies of SG6.
This is 9.
This one is 9.
No, 8.
Yes, that's SG8. So I'm now giving the
6.
copies of 6. Now, just for the sake of completeness, you told us at the very beginning of your testimony that you had been appointed by the President as GCOM Commissioner, and this had been in 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just going to show you a copy of your instrument of appointment. Tell me whether that's it.
It is, ma'am.
Commissioners, I'm respectfully asking that this be admitted as SG10, and I have copies. So you have to put all that in.
10 or 9. The last one he signed was 8.
What is that one? Sorry, SG9 would be the instrument of appointment.
9.
Yes. You took a copy, don't you? Commissioner,
Conrad,
sorry.
in this document, under the hand of Mr. Lowenfield, which is SG8, it says hereby attach a table showing the valid and credible votes cast.
Yes,
This, the valid and credible votes that he's referring to in the table,
can I see
SG8.
Might it be shown to him? SG8.
SG8.
Yes, sir.
The valid and credible votes that he is referring to, which he says are reflected in his table, were those determined by him or,
By-
sorry,
By him.
those are determined by him.
Yes, sir.
But in answer to me earlier, you said it was only the presiding officer whose statutory remit was to determine the validity of votes.
That is great, sir.
Are you aware of a legal provision which says that the statement of poll, which the presiding officer must pin on the polling place, is conclusive evidence, those words, of the results of the elections for that place?
Yes, sir.
Can you help us with the act and the section, if you know offhand? 89(1)A of some act?
It is most likely section 83 or 84 of the representation
Okay.
of either section 83 or section 84 of the representation.
So the law provides that the statement of poll pinned up at the polling place is conclusive evidence of the results of the elections at that place.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Is anyone clothed with the authority to alter that?
No, sir.
Commissioners, we have a considerable. Could you just lean over and pass that back to me, please? That's an actual exhibit. Now, we have very lengthy audiovisual material. We've tried to cut it down, and we will pause it if we think that either it's going on too long or it doesn't show something which is really useful to the Commission. But we can do that exercise either now or tomorrow morning.
Well, my concern is really that Mr. Conrad has had a long day, and I'm sure today, if you don't mind coming to the
I'm at the mercy of the Commission, sir.
This long day is nothing compared to the long days you had during this.
I'm sure you will take me into the dark hours, sir.
And we have no barricades and police officers.
Yes, I'm sorry. So we can complete this tomorrow morning,
We can, yes.
bearing in mind what you said about Friday.
I know, but I really would like to finish his evidence, and that includes the material which he
And
has
we feel that can be
produced.
done in the morning session.
Yes, and we will try to do it. I hope that we will not take at most an hour.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay, the commission hearing now completes for the day and resume tomorrow morning at 9